Hi everyone, Simon Chappell here. I'm the Quit Alcohol Coach, and as always I'm here to help you smash your sobriety. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, I've got this big new sticker to show you my name, Be Sober and Quit on Instagram. Make sure you also subscribe to the YouTube channel right here. You can press the button on this screen. There's new videos every Tuesday and every Thursday, and I wouldn't want you to miss out on any. And also, if you need more support, structure to quitting alcohol, tools and tactics and a sense of community, check out my Quit Drinking program. You can try it completely free for 14 days, so there's absolutely nothing to lose there. What I wanted to talk about today was believing what we see. I was the worst person for doing this. You might have heard it talked about before in the context of confirmation bias, which is where we look at the information we want to see. We seek out what we want to believe. And it can be a fairly toxic relationship to have with yourself, especially when it involves alcohol. But there's more than just confirmation bias. There's also overconfidence bias, which is where we believe in ourselves and our beliefs so much that nothing else is going to change our opinion, and we just go ahead and make decisions based on that because we so firmly believe it to be true. And there's more to this as well. There's also something called anchoring, which is where we jump to conclusions and we make snap decisions, again, based around our beliefs. Of course, if those beliefs are completely wrong and we've been doing everything we can to reinforce false beliefs by confirmation bias, we can end up in trouble. We can end up restricting ourselves because they're not healthy beliefs. They're beliefs that limit us and hold us back. I know for me, and I've said it before, that when it came to alcohol, I believed it would de-stress me. I believed it helped me relax. I believed I couldn't have fun without it. I thought it really enhanced my life in so many ways. And of course I used confirmation bias, anchoring and overconfidence bias to really reinforce that. I never stopped for a moment to actually take a look. So here's a few tips in terms of recognizing when this is going on and how you can deal with it. The first tip is to make sure you don't just read the headlines. So when you're scrolling through your social media feed and you see a headline that says wine is healthy for the heart, I used to just believe that. That was it. It was gospel. It reinforced my belief. I wanted to hear that drinking alcohol was absolutely fine and everybody drank like I did. And of course it's good for me. So if I saw that, it scored points. It reinforced my belief and it made me feel good about myself. We can't just read the headlines. We need to click on the story, check that it's not clickbait, check the actual facts around it, and then make sure we dig a little bit deeper, read the entire story. What are the sources where this came from? Sometimes it may be a survey of 10 people with some fairly shady data behind it that's just been used so they can put an advert for a drinks brand on the same page and get loads of traffic to it. So be very careful about just believing the headlines. I think we're all guilty of it. And I don't just mean with alcohol, with anything. Don't just believe the headlines. Take a moment. We live in a culture where it's fast moving. We want data instantly, information at the tip of our fingers. But it's a dangerous game when we start trusting headlines. The next tip, when we need to challenge the way we've been thinking and the information we've been digesting because it's been biased, is to make sure we check other sources. So you might find an article that says to you, 5 pints of beer a day will help you live 5 years longer. I mean, of course, we know that's going to be complete BS. However, there might be some facts. It might be a tiny little survey they've done where actually these people did happen to live longer. The fact that they ate an amazing diet and exercised 5 times a week doesn't get mentioned. They just want you to think that actually it was alcohol that was helping them live longer. You have to check the facts. So my advice there is to make sure when you look at an article, before you make a decision to believe it completely, check some other sources. And it's often worth typing in the opposite of the search into Google. So for example, if you found an article that said drinking 5 pints of beer a week helps you live 5 years longer, you might search for something like does drinking beer shorten your lifespan? And then see what that throws up. You've almost got to play devil's advocate with yourself and try and search out the opposite, and then look at the sources that these stories are coming from. And I know this all sounds really time consuming, but if you're hanging on to false beliefs about the benefits of alcohol, believing that it truly relaxes you, it truly helps you have fun, I can tell you right now, they're limiting beliefs, they're holding you back, and you want to be the best version of yourself. Well, I want you to know the facts, and I want you to be able to see if you're using confirmation bias, anchoring, overconfidence bias to believe things that actually aren't true and aren't healthy for you. They're limiting you from being the best version of yourself. And I do want to say, alcohol is a drug. Drugs have to have an upside. So of course, there's a short period of relaxation, a short period where it feels more fun. 30 minutes, maybe an hour. But after that, for me, it was an absolute downhill, slippery slope to destruction. So I don't want to say alcohol's just completely bad and there's no upside. Of course there's an upside. We wouldn't keep taking it. We wouldn't keep going back to the drug if it didn't have an upside. It has to do that in order to keep us hooked. My next tip when you find yourself reinforcing your false beliefs is to read the uncomfortable stuff. Now that can feel kind of difficult. I remember I used to do it myself. I drank 2-3 bottles of red wine every day for over 20 years. And I would look for articles and news stories that said it was okay, everybody drank like you do. When I saw an article about how much is safe to drink or the number of units per week that I should be drinking, it made me feel incredibly uncomfortable. It touched a nerve. I didn't want to read it. I didn't want to look in the mirror. But if you're going to change those beliefs, you need to digest that information. You need to read the uncomfortable stuff. You need to form a balanced opinion. If you're finding that you're only seeking out the information that reinforces your already existing beliefs, all you're doing is just continuing to reinforce them. You need to start to challenge your own thinking. I want you to know that if you've got beliefs that alcohol helps you relax, alcohol's fun, it helps you de-stress, all the rest of it, the list is endless, they are limiting beliefs. They're holding you back. They're not true. Yes, there's a short upside, but the rest of it is a massive downside. You've probably heard me talk before about it being like a payday loan company. I give you $100. You feel a sense of happiness and relaxation that you can stop worrying about money for a short period of time. The next day I'm banging on your door and I want $1,000 because it's a high interest rate. That's what alcohol's like. You pay back way more than you get. Sure, you get a little something, and I just want to be really clear on that. You do get a little something, but it is not worth the enormous trade-off. It really isn't. And the fact is, you can get the benefits, the de-stress, the fun, all the rest of it, by cutting alcohol out of your life and finding joy in the simple things, the things that are meant to give us pleasure, that alcohol has stolen the joy from over the years, which is absolutely what it did for me. My next tip for digging deeper with your beliefs when you've been reinforcing them through media and what you read and what you believe is to discuss them with other people. Now, if this is relating to alcohol, I don't suggest discussing them with other people down the pub, because those people are also going to be biased and also think that alcohol adds some kind of positive benefit to their lives. You're far better to get a diverse mix of people and ask them to play devil's advocate to a degree. Tell them what your beliefs are. Be honest, open, vulnerable. And I'm talking about people that you trust enough to do this with. And ask them if they think you're right. If they think that alcohol truly helps you relax over the longer term. If alcohol really does enable you to have a fun and joyful existence. And see what they have to say about it. Show them the articles and the pieces of content that you've been zoning in on. And maybe the ones that you've been ignoring and scrolling past in your social media feed. But I do think, no matter what, having somebody you can play devil's advocate with, who will challenge your thinking, will open you up to a new way of thinking and allow you to start questioning those beliefs. And that's why I'm here. That's what I'm talking about. I want you to start challenging those beliefs, looking for the truth in them, a bit like a defence and a prosecution. What is the evidence for and against those beliefs? Because trust me, when you start to look at this deeper, those beliefs don't look so solid any longer. They start to look very, very shaky indeed. The next thing you need to do, especially with anchoring and overconfidence bias, is give yourself some time, especially if this relates to making a decision. And it might even be a decision to quit drinking, or a decision to continue drinking, or a decision to go out drinking. Give yourself some time, and it may not even be to do with alcohol. Pause for a moment. Rather than jump in, take the time to reflect on the information you found. Maybe check some other sources. Maybe do talk to someone else who will play devil's advocate with you. Either way, don't make snap decisions. Take a moment, think about it. You might want to sleep on it. I often find that to be an excellent way to really reflect on any decisions that I'm going to make. And decisions link to beliefs as well. And our beliefs are formed from our experiences and the way we've been shaped throughout our lives. So they're quite hard to unlock. So take the time to be open-minded to hearing other views, to hearing other ways and other beliefs, and accept that your beliefs can actually be wrong. This was an absolute revelation to me. I didn't think my beliefs could be wrong. How could that be possible? They're absolutely true. No, they're not. Be open to knowing that your beliefs could actually be wrong. And I'm telling you, if there's some of the beliefs that I've already mentioned around drinking, they are wrong. And you need to start looking into that, digging a bit deeper and finding the truth. And there's a bunch more videos on my YouTube channel, loads of information in my Quit Drinking program about this, where you can really work on unlocking the beliefs and forming healthy new ones. But I want you right now just to check in on yourself and ask yourself if you do any of the things that I've mentioned. Do you only read the stuff that reinforces your belief around alcohol having benefits, or do you take a balanced view? Do you read the uncomfortable stuff too? I reckon maybe not. I certainly didn't. Do you find yourself making snap decisions, overconfident in your beliefs, thinking that they are absolute and there's no other way? Any of this stuff, you need to explore it. You really need to start digging into it, because you can change. And it sounds difficult. How do I change a belief? Well, all the answers are here and in the other videos on my YouTube channel. Start to look at this and get that information down. And that's why you need to get really mindful about it. If you use a journal, start to really explore your beliefs, and more importantly, the times when you believe the headlines, the times when you don't look at the opposing opinion, the time that you don't look at that story about the benefits of drinking on your heart, and then go and look at the sources, or go and search for the opposite to see what damage alcohol does on your heart. That's what you need to do. You need to be defence and prosecution on your beliefs and actually seek out the other information. So the next time you find yourself scrolling through Facebook and there's an article saying how much happier life is with alcohol in it, I want you to pause for a minute, read the whole article, look at the sources, go and look at some other sources, go and search for the opposite, go and talk to some friends or some trusted acquaintances about it, get someone to play devil's advocate, and then take some time to make a balanced and informed decision around what your real belief is. And trust me, if you can do that, you will start to reshape some incredibly healthy beliefs, and you will start to actually be believing the truth. And the truth won't hold you back. The truth won't limit you. The truth will allow you to move to a place where alcohol probably doesn't feature in your life. And we talk a lot more about that on my YouTube channel, so do subscribe now and throughout my Quit Drinking program, which you can join totally free for 14 days if you feel you need extra support, tactics and tools on the journey to quitting drinking.